It's the 15th of the month. You're sitting in your car in the grocery store parking lot. Engine still running, staring at the receipt on the passenger seat. $87 for what feels like 4 bags of nothing. You make decent money. On paper, you're doing fine. Your friends think you're doing fine. Your parents tell people you're doing fine. There's a leased SUV in the driveway, a 1-bedroom you can technically afford, a job with benefits. And yet, when you opened your banking app in the cereal aisle, you felt that specific little drop in your stomach. The one where you do the math between now and Friday and realize the math is tight again. Not catastrophic, just tight, like it always is. Like it was last month, and the month before, and the month when you got that raise you were so excited about. You make more than you've ever made in your life. So why does every month still feel exactly like this one? This is Rocket Finance, and today we're answering a very specific question. Why does living paycheck to paycheck happen to people who, on paper, should not be living paycheck to paycheck? And what actually moves the needle when nothing else has? We're going to look at the real numbers, the real mechanics, and the one psychological trap that keeps even high earners stuck. If you'd rather not get hit with a video like this once a quarter, the subscribe button is a decent insurance policy. Here's the thing nobody puts on a motivational poster. Roughly 2 out of every 3 Americans were living paycheck to paycheck heading into 2026. That's PIMS intelligence data, and it includes about half of people earning over $100,000 a year. This isn't a personal failure epidemic. This is a structural condition. And the structure has names. Housing costs set by a market where the average 1-bedroom rent now runs $1,506 a month and a 2-bedroom runs $1,800 according to Zillow. Auto lenders happily writing the average new car payment up to a record $773 a month in the first quarter of 2026 per Edmunds, with used cars at $559. Credit card issuers charging an average APR of 21% on a collective $1.3 trillion in revolving balances. You're not bad with money, you're a rational person trying to run a household inside a pricing environment that the Federal Reserve, your landlord, and your auto lender designed without consulting you. Let's get into the actual math, because this is where it stops feeling abstract. Motley Fool Money, drawing on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, puts the average American household's monthly living costs at $6,545. That's $78,335 a year just to exist. Housing and transportation eat the majority of that before groceries, utilities, or insurance even show up. Then you've got household debt. A record $18.8 trillion in the first quarter of 2026, averaging out to $105,144 per household. The credit card slice is the one that quietly burns the house down. The average household balance sits around $6,615, and at 21% APR, that balance alone can torch more than $1,400 a year in interest, while the principal barely moves. Picture a 34-year-old project coordinator in Charlotte making $72,000 a year. She drives a 2023 Honda she financed at $559 a month, pays $1,650 for a 1-bedroom near her office, and carries about $7,000 in credit card debt from a rough stretch 2 years ago. She is, by every external measure, succeeding. She also cannot tell you the last time her checking account hit 4 figures the day before payday. Now add the wage problem. From April 2025 to April 2026, nominal wages grew 3.6%, while inflation rose 3.8%. That's the first time in 3 years prices have outrun paychecks. And the Philadelphia Fed's survey of professional forecasters now expects headline inflation to hit 6% this quarter. More than double what they predicted just 3 months earlier. So even if your raise looked good on the offer letter, it's quietly losing a foot race you didn't know you were in. But here's where it gets interesting, and where the PIMS research really earns its keep. Living paycheck to paycheck is not just about income. It spans every income bracket. There's a 47-year-old software engineer in Austin pulling $185,000 with 2 kids in private school, a $2,900 mortgage payment on a 6.8% rate, and exactly $3,400 in liquid savings. He lives paycheck to paycheck by choice, technically. But the choices, made one at a time over a decade, have hardened into something that doesn't feel like a choice anymore. PMs found that 54% of paycheck-to-paycheck Americans live that way through a blend of choices and circumstance. Only 21% are there purely from necessity. The rest of us have, slowly and without noticing, built a life that consumes exactly what we earn. Which brings us to the mechanism. The reason smart, employed, financially literate people end up here is something economists call lifestyle inflation. And it is the single most effective wealth destruction tool ever invented. And nobody markets it to you because they don't have to. Here's how it works. You get a raise. $3,000 more a year, let's say. Your rent doesn't change overnight, but your lease comes up and you figure, well, you can afford a slightly nicer place now. Your car lease ends, and the dealer shows you a model with the heated seats for just $60 more a month. Your friends start going to a slightly nicer brunch spot. Your subscriptions creep. Streaming, fitness, the meal kit, the second streaming service because the first one lost the show you wanted. None of these are stupid decisions. Each one by itself is rational and small, but they compound at exactly the same rate your income does. So your margin, the gap between what comes in and what goes out, stays at zero forever. You can earn $50,000 with a zero margin, and you can earn $250,000 with a zero margin. And PMs found that consumers earning over $250,000 are 30% more likely to still be living paycheck to paycheck than people just below them. The treadmill doesn't care how fast you run. So, back to the parking lot, the receipt on the passenger seat, the drop in your stomach. You now know it's not because you bought the wrong brand of pasta sauce. It's because you're operating inside a system where housing, transportation, and credit are all priced to consume your raise before you see it. And your own brain, doing its rational best, fills in any remaining gap with small, reasonable upgrades. The one move that actually changes this is brutally unglamorous. When your next raise hits, you do not let your spending rise with it. You park the difference. First into killing high-interest credit card debt, because nothing you invest will beat a guaranteed 21% return from not owing money at 21%. Then into a high-yield savings account as an emergency cushion, because the data is brutally clear that everything gets easier once you cross about $5,000 in liquid savings. That's it. That's the move. It's not exciting. It's not a hack. It's just the only lever that the system isn't already pulling against you. You are not failing. The math is broken, and now you can see exactly where. If you want more videos that treat you like an adult who can handle real numbers, subscribe. This is Rocket Finance.